Now, having dealt with this particular performance where we have 8 parts that play individually and separately at different times, what about a different performance where we have 8 channels all doing something at the same time? Let's pick up the Stranger Dreams performance by Dom Segalas, which does exactly that. We have 8 parts, they all use arpeggios, and the idea is that this sounds like the theme to Stranger Things. Let's have a quick listen while we record it. Okay, so we've got our MIDI regions recorded, but what you might notice at this point is that they all look very much the same, and the reason for that, if we take a look, is that despite the fact that what we were hearing was a very rich performance, we have only recorded the trigger notes for the arpeggios in each of these MIDI regions. Why has that happened? Well, because that's what we told it to do actually. But if we head into Utility and look at the control diagram, we can see that the arpeggiator is currently located after the keyboard has sent MIDI out. So only the tone generator is getting the arpeggiator data. What we need is we need the arpeggiator to move backwards so that it happens before MIDI out. So instead of sending the trigger notes to MIDI out, we want to send the complete arpeggiated data. And the way to do that is to switch on Arp MIDI out, and you can see how that makes the arpeggiator jump backwards and forwards. This is also equivalent to using Shift Utility, Quick Setup, Arp Rec on DAW. So I'm going to record this again just after that, but this time with the arpeggiator being sent to MIDI out. Here we go. And you can see straight away there's absolutely bucket loads of MIDI data being sent. Because now we are receiving the arpeggiated notes rather than just the trigger notes. Let's stop that recording and just take a quick look at the MIDI data we've got. I'm going to move all of these back up here. So let's compare the trigger notes for part 7 versus the arpeggiated data that it actually generated. So there is obviously a time and a place to record this and a time and a place to record that, depending on how you're going to play it back. If I wanted to play a VST, for example, that was not using the montage tone generator, then I might want to actually send the arpeggiated data, whereas if I was sending back to the montage, then I could make use of the arpeggiator in the montage to do that. Let's just get rid of that audio, and if I start it up at any point here, I can turn off the arpeggiator on the montage and hit playback and still hear the complete performance. You'll note that the arpeggiator keeps turning back on. That's probably because there's some sort of control data in one of these MIDI regions that is telling it to turn back on. Okay,